Panama is a narrow strip of land, but its importance is far larger than its size suggests. Located at the southern end of Central America, it sits at the point where North America nearly touches South America. On a map, Panama looks like a bridge between continents and a barrier between oceans. To the north is the Caribbean Sea. To the south is the Pacific Ocean. To the west is Costa Rica, and to the southeast is Colombia. This unusual position has shaped almost everything about Panama: its people, its economy, its history, and its role in the world. For centuries, travelers, traders, empires, and shipping companies have looked at Panama and seen the same thing: a shortcut. Today, more than 4 million people live there, and nearly half are connected to the metropolitan area of Panama City, the country's capital and largest urban center. Long before Panama became a republic or a center of global trade, it was home to many indigenous peoples. These communities lived across forests, coasts, rivers, and mountains, developing their own languages, trade networks, social systems, and relationships with the land. Panama's geography encouraged movement and exchange. Even before Europeans arrived, the isthmus was a passageway for people, goods, plants, and ideas moving between northern and southern regions of the Americas. That deep history matters because Panama was never just an empty corridor waiting to be used by outsiders. It was already a populated and culturally diverse place. The story of modern Panama begins not with the canal, but with the peoples who understood the land, navigated its waters, and lived within its tropical environment for generations. Spanish colonists arrived in the 16th century, and Panama quickly became valuable to the Spanish Empire. Its location made it a strategic route for moving wealth from the Pacific side of the Americas toward the Caribbean and then across the Atlantic to Europe. Instead of sailing all the way around South America, goods could cross the narrow isthmus by land. This turned Panama into a colonial transit zone, a place where geography was converted into imperial power. Spanish control changed the region dramatically through conquest, settlement, forced labor, disease, religious conversion, and new economic systems. Panama's role as a connector grew stronger, but it came at a heavy cost for indigenous communities. The colonial period established a pattern that would repeat throughout Panama's history. Outside powers were drawn to the country because of its location. In 1821, Panama broke away from Spain. But independence did not immediately mean becoming the separate country we know today. Instead, Panama joined the Republic of Gran Colombia, a large political union that included Nueva Granada, Ecuador, and Venezuela. This reflected a broader moment in Latin American history, when newly independent regions experimented with large federations and shared republican projects after Spanish rule collapsed. Gran Colombia was ambitious, but it was difficult to hold together. Regional identities, political disagreements, geography, and competing interests strained the union. When Gran Colombia dissolved in 1831, Panama remained linked to Nueva Granada, which later became part of the Republic of Colombia. For much of the 19th century, Panama's political future was tied to Colombia, even as its geographic position gave it interests that were distinct from the rest of the country. The idea of building a canal through Panama became one of the most important infrastructure dreams of the modern world. A canal would allow ships to travel between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans without making the long, dangerous journey around Cape Horn at the southern tip of South America. For global trade and naval power, the benefits were enormous. But building such a canal was incredibly difficult. Panama's tropical climate, heavy rainfall, dense vegetation, disease, mountains, and rivers all created serious engineering and human challenges. The canal was not simply a ditch across a narrow country. It required controlling water, cutting through land, managing elevation changes, and protecting workers from deadly diseases. The project became a symbol of modern engineering ambition and also of international competition over who would control the world's most valuable shortcut. In 1903, Panama separated from Colombia with the backing of the United States. This moment was one of the most consequential in Panamanian history. For Panama, it meant the creation of an independent republic. For the United States, it opened the way to build and control the canal. The relationship between independence and foreign influence was complicated from the start. Panama gained sovereignty, but the canal project gave the United States enormous power in the country, especially over the canal zone. Construction began under the United States Army Corps of Engineers in 1904 and continued until 1914. The completed canal transformed shipping routes and global commerce. But it also created a long-running debate inside Panama about sovereignty, national dignity, and who truly controlled the country's most important asset. The Panama Canal works because it solves a geographic problem with an engineered waterway. Ships passing through the canal do not simply sail at sea level from one ocean to the other. Instead, locks raise and lower vessels so they can cross the interior of the isthmus through artificial channels and lakes. This system allows massive ships to move across land using controlled water levels. The impact is global. A ship traveling from the east coast of the United States to the west coast, or from Asia to Atlantic markets, can save thousands of miles by using the canal. Time, fuel, insurance, and logistics all change because of this route. That is why the canal is not only a Panamanian landmark. It is one of the key pieces of infrastructure that keeps world trade moving. For much of the 20th century, control of the canal remained a major issue. Many Panamanians saw the foreign-controlled canal zone as an unacceptable division of their own territory. This tension eventually led to the Torrijos-Carter Treaties, signed in 1977. These agreements set the process for transferring the canal from the United States to Panama. The surrounding territory began returning earlier, in 1979, and the canal itself was officially transferred to Panamanian control on December 31, 1999. That date was more than an administrative milestone. It represented a major step in Panama's national story, the country taking full control of the asset that had defined its modern history. The canal remained international in function, but its ownership and administration became Panamanian, changing how the country saw itself and how the world saw Panama. Today, revenue from canal tolls remains a significant part of Panama's economy. Every vessel that passes through pays for the privilege of using one of the world's most efficient shortcuts. This income supports public finances and strengthens Panama's position as a logistics hub. The canal became even more important after the expansion project completed in 2016, which doubled its capacity. Larger ships could pass through, allowing Panama to serve a changing global shipping industry where container vessels and bulk carriers have grown dramatically in size. But the canal is not just about tolls. It supports ports, storage, repairs, transportation services, insurance, finance, and trade-related industries. In that sense, Panama's economy has developed around movement, moving ships, moving goods, moving capital, and moving people through one of the most strategic locations on Earth. Panama's economy is not limited to the canal. Commerce, banking, and tourism are major sectors, helping make Panama a high-income economy by international classification. Panama City has become a skyline of glass towers, financial institutions, hotels, ports, and highways. Its modern appearance reflects the country's role as a service economy connected to global flows of money and trade. The banking sector has been especially important, drawing business from across Latin America and beyond. Tourism also benefits from Panama's mix of urban life, beaches, islands, forests, and cultural heritage. Yet this growth brings challenges. A wealthy financial district does not automatically mean prosperity is evenly shared. Like many fast-growing economies, Panama faces questions about inequality, infrastructure, housing, public services, and how to balance international competitiveness with the needs of ordinary citizens. Panama is also one of the most biodiverse countries in the region. Around 40% of its land area is covered by jungles, and these forests are home to an extraordinary range of tropical plants and animals. Some species found in Panama exist nowhere else on Earth. This biodiversity is linked to the country's position as a biological bridge between continents. Over millions of years, The formation of the isthmus allowed animals and plants from North and South America to move, mix, and evolve in new ways. Panama's forests, wetlands, coasts, and mountains are not only beautiful, they are ecologically important. Protecting them matters for climate, water systems, indigenous communities, tourism, and scientific research. The same geography that makes Panama commercially valuable also makes it environmentally irreplaceable. Panama's global role extends beyond trade and ecology. It is a founding member of the United Nations and participates in organizations such as the Organization of American States, the Latin America Integration Association, the Group of 77, the World Health Organization, and the Non-Aligned Movement. These memberships show how Panama presents itself internationally, not just as a canal state, but as a sovereign country involved in diplomacy, regional cooperation, development, health, and global governance. Its size may be modest, but its location gives it influence. Panama's story is a reminder that geography can shape destiny, but people and politics decide what that destiny becomes. From indigenous homelands to colonial transit route, from disputed canal zone to modern logistics hub, Panama has always been more than a passageway. It is a country at the crossroads of oceans, continents, and history. If you found this helpful, please like this video and subscribe for more explainers.